All right, tonight to discuss this more, we have Nikki Sinclaire in our Birmingham studio, one of our MEPs, an independent. First, Sajid Javid is the Tory MP for Bromsgrove and also an aide to the Chancellor of the Exchequer, George Osborne. Mr Javid, good evening.
Hi, Andrew.
So, tell us from the outset, how will disagreeing with the rest of the Eurozone help us?
It helps us because it puts our national interests first. In fact, Andrew, I can tell you, I've had, in my constituency today, I've had numerous people come up to me in the street. People send emails in today, make phone calls to my office to express just how pleased they are that the Prime Minister has taken this position, and how pleased they are that once again we've got a Prime Minister that puts the interests of Britain first.
But if we were to, say, take Mr Miliband's comments there, it may exclude us from some very important decisions. We may be on the outside of stuff that we should be in on.
I think what Mr Miliband has to explain is if that's what he's worried about, why did his government sign up to the Lisbon Treaty a couple of years ago that gave those very powers away, took them away from Britain and gave them to Europe? I think before he explains that, no one should take him seriously on this issue at all.
Let's bring in Nikki Sinclaire, one of our MEPs, an independent, as outlined in our studios at the Mailbox in Birmingham. Nikki Sinclaire, good evening.
Good evening.
Your take on this?
Well, I think this leaves the Prime Minister and the Conservatives' position on Europe in tatters. He promised the electorate at the general election that he could renegotiate with our European partners, that he could repatriate powers. He's shown his ability at negotiation, and it's very, very poor. He's failed to bring back those powers. I'm glad that the city is going to be protected for the time being. My worry with this, as we've seen with past leaders, including Conservatives, let's not forget Major, that came back from Maastricht with a kind of a piece in his time piece of paper, only for powers to later be taken on board. And that's what the European Union does. It takes powers bit by bit. And really what he should have done, I mean, I was the coordinator that collected those 100,000 signatures that forced a debate that Mr Javid actually voted against, even though many people in his constituency wanted him to support a motion for a referendum. But don't we need to be honest with Europe? Let's be honest with Europe, and let's be honest with the electorate. Isn't it about time that the electorate of this country was given a decision? Do we want to be part of this? And if we do want to be part of this European Union, we need to do it properly and be part of the table. But if we don't, and I suggest that we shouldn't be part of it, that we should leave the European Union altogether.
Hang on a minute.
Can I just tell you the headline in Le Monde today?
Just hang on a second, because you're making a lot of points, Nikki Sinclair, and I want to just bring Sajid Javid back in. Sajid Javid, just picking up on one or two of those things, could we have not be part of this, but also protected the city at the same time?
Well, that's exactly what the Prime Minister tried to do. He went in there saying he's happy to look at an agreement that includes all 27 nations of the European Union, but only in exchange for safeguards for Britain for a number of interests, particularly in the financial sector. Just like, for example, France has special interest in the agricultural sector, he's asking for something similar for Britain. Once the other countries, particularly France, have refused to recognise that, he had no choice. And I think that for that way, he's put Britain's interests first, and that's exactly what we wanted.
What do you think the impact on our economy will be? Do you think, the strength of the pound, for example?
Of this particular decision in the last 24 hours?
Yeah.
Right here and now, not much, because I think the markets will wait to see what happens overall with the other countries and what they decide to do. But I think the bigger impact is just the overall freezing effect of the Eurozone crisis in of itself. I mean, that is what ultimately needs to be resolved by the Eurozone countries one way or another, because that is slowing down economies across the world, which of course includes our own.
All right, let's go back to Nikki Sinclair. I cut you off as you were going on to your next point there, so let's pick up on it.
The headline of Le Monde.
The headline of Le Monde today, what is it? Yeah.
Says goodbye Britain.
Right.
Because that's how some of them see it. So you have El Paz in Madrid saying basically we're back to a pre-1973 situation with a souped-up EFTA. Now that's we need to make a decision about this. I think that, Cameron said that we can't, have a referendum while our neighbour's house are burning. Our neighbours don't care about our position. They didn't want to negotiate us, or did Cameron not negotiate with them? Which is the answer?
But weren't you at one stage part of UKIP? Isn't this something that you wanted at one stage anyway?
Yes, I want to leave the European Union, but what I want is an honest debate. And I think it's about time are we in this and doing this properly, or are we leaving. I suggest our country's our interests lay outside the European Union. For this bit, why do we need? We pay £45 million a day, to be left isolated. Wouldn't that £45 million a day be better spent on local public services that are being cut back and not wasted away in an organisation that has its accounts audited for 17 years?
Okay, is this then the first stage of cutting all ties with Europe, Sajid Javid?
No, I don't think it is. I mean, the Prime Minister has also said that it's important that we remain part of a single market. We can have free trades in goods and services across Europe. That's important for companies and people across Britain. But it is also important to express your national interest and make sure we fight for that. And that's what the Prime Minister has done.
All right. Look, both good to speak. Nikki Sinclaire, one of our MEPs and independent, and joining us from our studios in Birmingham, and also Sajid Javid, who is the Tory MP for